Hello, dear listeners. You are turning into an episode of These Hours Are From Midnight Till 3. I'm your host, Professor Evelyn, a long-time member of the Telemasque, an organization that investigates all things supernatural. In this week's episode, I am diving into a strange phenomenon that has swept our nation. You have heard of vampires, yes? An undead creature that sleeps in coffins in the dirt of their native soil, drinks blood, can only come out at night lest they burn to a sizzle, and can be killed with a stake driven into their heart. Well, what if I were to tell you that a different breed of vampire exists that has come to the Telemasque's attention? One you would call a daywalker. These vampires will not kill you, but they are dangerous. The trouble is that they are not as easy to spot. Your standard vampire is pale, with pronounced veins and fierce eyes. These vampires have no such look. In fact, they appear to be rather unremarkable looking. These vampires don't just hang around in crypts and old crumbling castles. And they aren't theater vampires, pretending to be humans, pretending to be vampires, like Anne Rice's vampires. No. These vampires are everywhere. And they can be anyone. They could be your Aunt Flo, who flew in from Saskatchewan and threatens to stay for 3 months. They can be your landlord, knocking at your door unannounced. They could be your grade 12 calculus teacher who has you captive for an hour and a half. They can be an angry incel living in his mother's basement, letting the whole world know that women are the reason for his miserable existence. They could be your supervisor at the office. I am, of course, talking about energy vampires. I will now discuss key points about these vampires. The first point I will discuss is their diets. The energy vampire is not your standard vampire, as I said. The sole difference is in their diets. They do not feed off of human blood like the classic vampire. They instead feed off of your energy. How they feed off of your energy is to either bore you till you fall asleep, annoy you, or anger you. The more vexatious they are, the more they get to you, and the more powerful they become. Like I said, they will not kill you. They will deplete your energy and make you lethargic. And it may take a while to get your energy back up. While they are not as heard of as your classic vampire, they are more common, and their numbers are greater. I will say one thing to look out for is their eyes. Their eyes may be a dull, glossy gray, but as they talk to you, and you feel great sleep creep into your bones, their eyes will change color. They will flash into a brilliant, bright blue. If you encounter such a person, Asterix, try to exit the conversation as quickly as possible. But you must be calm. I cannot stress this enough. Even if they are irritating you or making you mad, you must not let on that they have that effect on you. If they know that they do, it will only make them stronger. They will catch you in their snare until they have had their fill. Just keep calm and exit the conversation with grace. The second point I will discuss is their hunting grounds. You see, unlike the stereotypical vampire, they don't just come out at night. In fact, they can come out day or night. They do not burn to death in the sun. Therefore, they have a wider range for their hunting grounds. One of their most common hunting grounds are places where dreams go to die, such as offices, call centers, schools, prisons, factories, airport lobbies, airplanes, buses, the CRA, Ontario service centres, hospital waiting rooms, and the internet. The internet, of course, is one of their main food sources, as it is accessible and ready to be utilized at all times, and where a 9 to 5 time frame doesn't exist. These energy vampires take on the role of the troll. They scour social media and YouTube and will express their controversial opinions from politics to woke culture to topics on the LGBTQ, to the rights of minorities, to ICE, to the Proud Boys, to the news on the latest wars and climate change. Their main victims are left-wing liberals, and they take on the role of the right-wing bigot, hell-bent on arguing with folks and insulting them till steam blows out of their ears. Dear listeners, if you are a left-wing liberal and you put up a post on Instagram about Pride Month or something, and someone poo-poos your post, whatever you do, do not engage in an argument. If you yell at them and call them names, it will only make them stronger, and you are feeding their life force. Just ignore them and go about your day. For many of these hunting grounds, energy vampires take on the role of leadership so that they can have power over their victims. They could be your supervisor, droning on and on about cleaning your dishes in the lunchroom and company policies. They could be your teacher, overseeing detention on a Saturday and making you write an essay on who the hell you think you are, like the Breakfast Club. They could be a jail guard, waking up inmates at 5 a.m. because it's time to attend their prison jobs. They could be a librarian, shushing people for whispering. They could be an orange-faced politician in a debate, shouting over his opponents. One of the most powerful energy vampires in power are those who are in human resources. However, they do not need to be in positions of power to gain power. They can simply be just hanging around, waiting for their perfect victims. The places they like to hang out in are places where people have no choice but to wait, and they can slide up next to people and bore them with their life stories. These places, as I mentioned, are places of great waiting, such as airport lobbies, hospital waiting rooms, train stations, bus stations, and the Costco lineup. Another place they like to scour are places like coffee shops and restaurants, where they can bore the customers and employees alike, who have no choice but to be nice to them. They absolutely love to give a barista a long, complicated order that is impossible to remember, and then after they have set that barista up for failure, threaten to talk to the manager. This energy vampire is the Karen, and they are incredibly common. They are a cousin to the internet troll, and that they really thrive off of annoyance and anger. Except the Karen has another superpower, which is the power to elicit fear, which is not unlike the boss or the supervisor. One of the most famous energy vampires is Colin Robinson, who resides in Staten Island and lives in a vampire coven. He stars in the TV show What We Do in the Shadows. He works in an office where he's not even sure what his job is, because he's not there to collect a paycheck. He is there to feed. And his environment, where boredom runs amok, is a perfect place. His tactics are to loudly sharpen pencils and trap his coworkers into long, boring conversations. He is the only vampire in his coven who can drain other vampires, that even they fear his presence. I will now wrap up this episode, dear listeners, and I ask you to go about the world with caution as we navigate these insidious creatures. Know that they are everything, everywhere, all at once, and they will not stop till they grow fat with energy like a tick that's hung on all day. Know that they can be anyone. They can even be you if you are not careful. Please don't use this information to become a troll or a Karen, or, God forbid, a human resources manager. All right, folks, that's it for now. Next week, I will talk about a distant cousin of the energy vampire, the emotional energy vampire. And we'll discuss Colin Robinson's nemesis and also the great love of his life, Evie, the emotional energy vampire. Have a good night.